12 seconds. Ram blocked from behind by Tony.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
Feeds Wade in the corner. Three-pointer good.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Down goes Gonzaga. For the second time this season, the Razorbacks have upset the number 1 ranked team in the country, and the Hogs are going to the Elite Eight.
And welcome into Arkansas Game Day. I am Drew Barrett. Ty Richardson is live in San Francisco as we are less than 2 hours away from the Elite Eight matchup of your University of Arkansas Razorbacks versus the Blue Devils, as Arkansas looks to get back to the Final Four for the first time since 1995. Ty, of course, is in San Francisco, and we cannot thank our sponsors enough for allowing him to be there to give you all the great coverage of this Elite Eight. Ritter Communications, providing 100% fiber internet from 100% Arkansas company. Ritter Communications, right for you. Guild Mortgage, serving you for all your home loan needs. See more at gildandmortgage.com. And, of course, get a free furnace when you purchase a qualifying new system from Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling. Call 855-GO-CALL-BUD or gocallbud.com. Bud Anderson is official heating and cooling provider of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So Ty is on the phone in San Francisco. Actually, he just dropped, so hopefully we can get him to call back here in a few minutes to try to set the scene for the matchup. Actually, he's on Comm 1. Here we go. Ty, you there?
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm doing
you
the
hung
show.
up on me, man. You can't be messing things up on me on the live broadcast here.
Oh, hey, that's my mistake. I'll take full credit for it.
Okay,
But I just left the Hyatt Regency where the Arkansas basketball team, no joke, walked out 5 minutes before we came on. So you'll love this, Drew. I'm currently doing the show in the back of a friend's vehicle as we're making our way to the Chase Center as we speak. This is the beauty of technology, my friend.
Gotta love that Wi-Fi card, right? It can connect you from the moon as long as you have power and a good power source, and it can set you up and get you on from practically anywhere. So set the scene for us. Set up the kind of build-up of the day from the Bay.
It's a beautiful day, man. There are more Hog fans here. The two gentlemen from Fort Smith that I'm here with, they arrived yesterday, and I've talked to a handful of people today that couldn't make the Thursday game, but have gotten a chance once they won the Sweet 16 matchup against Gonzaga. They pulled the trigger on tickets, on flights, and they have made their way to the Bay. I think Duke's probably going to outnumber Arkansas, probably 4 fans to 1 if I had to guess, but the Arkansas fans here are rowdy. They're ready to go. It's a beautiful day here. Downtown San Francisco. We were at the pier earlier. There's so much exploring to do, Drew, down there. It's not just a great sports town, but I think a lot of Arkansas fans that have made the trip have enjoyed themselves, no question about it.
Oh, I'm sure they have. San Francisco has always been on the bucket list for me of a place to visit because, like you said, there's so many things that you want to do and that you kind of need to do to kind of really feel out the city, from the tourism stuff to kind of figuring out what it's like to be a native San Franciscan. I think, is that what they call themselves?
Close enough, right?
Yeah, close enough. So to get the full feel of the city, you need a couple days there, and I'm glad that Arkansas was able to pull out the win against Gonzaga on Thursday to give you a few more days and a few more chances to go out and explore San Francisco. But Ty, this is not going to be an easy matchup to get back to the Elite Eight, or to get back to the Final Four, because you look at some of the other matchups around the Elite Eight today and tomorrow, and you kind of wish you would have drew that card, especially when it's a historic program like the Duke Blue Devils, when it's the farewell tour for Coach K and all the pressure and everything that goes on to that. You know, this feels like the first time in our lifetime where the majority of people are silently rooting for the Blue Devils, because you either love them or you absolutely hate them. And I think 90% of people absolutely hate Duke, but it feels like Arkansas, in a lot of people's mind, is just another stepping stone for Coach K to end everything out on top. Is that kind of how it feels out there, or do you think that it's anybody's game and we'll see how it goes?
Well, Duke, I think how you described Drew, Duke, Drew, I'll say that 10 times fast, is spot on in the fact that you either love the Blue Devils or you hate them with every fiber of your being. And think about what 94 meant to this state, this university, this basketball program, beating the team that you're either with them or against them. And for the fans that are casual basketball fans or the San Francisco people or whatever, I still think that it's probably split on some people wanting Coach K to get to another Final Four, and then there's people that want to see him knocked out. I was talking to a guy earlier who was just he had no connections to the University of Arkansas at all, but he was cheering for Arkansas just because of how much he dislikes Duke and Coach K. So this is going to be a lot of fun later on today. You've got the A-Team broadcast crew with Jim Nance, Bill Raftery, and Grant Hill. I'm curious to see how Grant reacts during the course of the game with him playing for Coach K. But this is what you dream of, man. If you're an Arkansas Razorback fan, a chance to send him packing, send him home. You would have a 3-1 record against K in the history of your basketball program. You beat him after you lost to him in the 90 Denver Final Four, and then you beat him in the regular season, and we know what happened in the national championship. So to end your career against Coach K 3-1, I think Razorback fans would love to be able to say that happened.
Oh, I think they definitely would, because this is the feel of this March Madness, right? There's so many different storylines, so many different things that have been going on throughout this tournament that you do feel like you're kind of living in a documentary, like you're living through a 30 for 30 that's going to be released in 15, 20 years when we're all old and gray and talking about I remember when. And regardless of the way this matchup goes, it still feels like it's a chapter in a 30 for 30, regardless of who wins, because you have Arkansas looking to get back to their first Final Four since 1995, because of Arkansas's incredible turnaround, to start 2022 after starting SEC play 0-3, beating teams like number 1 Auburn, beating Kentucky, beating Tennessee, beating the number 1 overall seed Gonzaga on Thursday. It just feels like we're living history right now, and it's going to be that way, hopefully, for the Hogs to continue their run to New Orleans and to that Final Four next week. So, Ty, kind of short, because we're going to get to it all today, but, what's the first thing that jumps off the page at you with this matchup?
I think it's the intrigue of who Au'Diese Toney is going to guard. He shut down Teddy Allen. He shut down Andrew Nembhard. Do you put him on Roach? Do you put him on Banchero? Who do you have a luxury and an option that he's probably going to eliminate most of his scoring from that opposing player. It's not all of it. I mean, Banchero's a lottery pick, and he kind of took over late in that basketball game against Texas Tech. I'm really curious to me just who Au'Diese Toney's going to guard. And then Arkansas, can you hit jump shots? Duke might zone you today and tonight. And if you do, can JD get out of the shooting funk that he's been in for 3? I asked Stanley Mude, I was like, Stanley, this seems like a game for you, man. Zone defense, you were the best three-point shooter on this team, and he absolutely agreed with me that it was just one of those things where he feels like he could take advantage of it. Now, Drew, it's just a matter of this team can hit some jump shots if Coach K decides, you know what, we're not going to do the gritty man-to-man Duke's been known for. We're going to try and zone Arkansas tonight.
Yeah, because, you got to figure out different ways to keep Arkansas at bay. And ultimately, all three teams, I think, that Arkansas has played has done a good job. And I don't know if you can really contribute the shooting woes to how good of defense you've gone up against Vermont and New Mexico State and Gonzaga, or it's just you've been off offensively. And especially a guy like J.D. Notae, when he comes flying through that lane and gets that little kiss off the glass, you feel like 9 out of 10 are going to fall, and they have for most of the season. But throughout this tournament, you're looking at more of a 20% instead of a 90% ratio. Do you see J.D. Notae continuing to play his game, or do you think that maybe he pulls up and takes those little jump shots instead of trying to get the kiss off the glass?
I think that he's going to do it in a variety of ways, which is exactly how he's done it as of late. He's gotten to the free throw line. He's taken that little elbow jumper. He's taken floaters. He's gotten all the way to the rim. He's also, he took 12 threes last game. Can't forget that. 29 total shots. If JD shoots 9 for 29 today, I just don't see how you win. Duke is and I say that, you just beat a team that's the number 1 scoring team in all of college basketball and held them to 68 points, but you're going to need more efficiency, I think, from J.D. Notae later on today.
Mm-hmm. And this is obviously the second back-to-back year that Arkansas has found themselves as one of the final 8 teams of 68 in the NCAA tournament. Now, last year, Arkansas got off to such a slow start, and Baylor just kind of ran away with it. You played better going down the stretch, but it just wasn't enough to climb out. If Arkansas does start slow, is there a point mark of Duke's lead that you look at of you have to keep it below a certain number to continue to have a prayer? Is it 6? Is it 10? I mean, or is it more than that you're still going to have confidence that Arkansas is going to be able to battle back?
I think I got to go back and double check. I don't remember if Gonzaga, if they got it to a double-digit lead, maybe 11, but I don't think it ever got too out of hand. Duke has a lot of different weapons. You're going to be frustrated by them today because they've got guys. Griffin can shoot it. Roach is a great player. Mark Williams is their big 7-footer. Theo John comes off the bench. I mean, they've got some dudes. So you can't let that lead get too out of hand because Arkansas at times has struggled offensively. I don't know if it's a set number, Drew, but how about putting them in a hole? I mean, we saw Gonzaga started playing tight, playing tense. You look on their bench, man, you could see that there was doubt starting to creep in. I know Duke has played really well down the stretch against Michigan State, and they played great against Texas Tech in those remaining 6 or 7 minutes. But y'all, it's the shot of the Final Four now. That ante gets even it brought up even more. So if you can pressure them, man, if you can get after them, I think doubt might start to creep into their minds just as it did Gonzaga on Thursday night, Drew.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you reach this point in the tournament, there is no more of playing with house money, see where it goes because of everything that's on the line. I think, even with a team like Arkansas, once you beat New Mexico State, because I think we all expected the way that they've been playing, winning 17 out of the last 20 to finish out the regular season, all the excitement that's been around this team, I think we expected them to make the second weekend. And then once you made the second weekend and you realize you're going to go up against a team like Gonzaga, it was almost of, hey, we're glad to be back. Let's see what happens. If we win, great. If we don't, it was still a great season. But now that you've won and you're this close to putting up one of the 2 banners in all of college basketball that mean the most, when you can put up a banner that says Final Four on it, that is history. That is going down in Arkansas lore as a team that will never be forgotten. That is going down as moments talked around water coolers, across bars, across restaurants, family reunions for the next 50, 60 years. This is a moment that people are going to remember for the rest of their lives if you can pull off that win tonight. So, I'm not even an Arkansas alum. I'm not a native Arkansan. I'm not a fan. But even I can kind of feel the pressure and the tenseness around this matchup. Has it been the same way? Does it feel like there's that tension there in San Francisco? Or is this kind of all in my head kind of building it up?
Here's what I would say, Drew. I think Arkansas fans feel as though they have a free shot in this game tonight. You have a chance to eliminate and end Coach K and coaching college basketball. You have a chance to get to a Final Four, which I think most people are a year. What Muss has done, and I know that COVID took out the NCAA tournament. I can't remember how not close they were to making it the first year, but he's a year ahead of schedule. I think most people didn't think that the team would go to an Elite Eight his second season. They did. Now this team, if you win 9, most people thought that the Final Four team would be Nick Smith, Jordan Walsh, and these guys next year. He's a year ahead of schedule, and he's already a year ahead of schedule. You could debate that he's 2 years ahead of schedule if they win this game tonight. And for Arkansas fans, this is why you have guys like Doug Gottlieb and other notable college basketball analysts that say Arkansas is a sleeping giant, must just woke them up. And I mean, I keep I'm riding with guys and talking with guys at the foundation event earlier, Drew, and you and I don't have as good of a grasp on it because we weren't alive back then, but they just feels very 90-ish where Razorback basketball, where you truly believe that this team can win a national championship.
And you hope that that's the way. I think that regardless of the way the ball falls tonight, you lose, great season, don't take nothing away. But, hey, Ty, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to hear some jazz on Bourbon Street next week. I really want us to be down in New Orleans getting ready for this matchup. And if we want to hear your predictions to this game, 877-377-6963, your calls, your texts, going to take them next segment. If you've got your thoughts, give us your predictions. Give us what you're excited about, what you might be a little worried about. but we're going to have all of that on the other side and more. As we're going to take you all the way up to 7:15 for Chuck and Z's pregame leading into the tip of this Elite Eight matchup between the Razorbacks and Blue Devils. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
On average, someone wins with a scratch-off game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery every 1.3 seconds. That means by the time I'm through talking, more than 23 people will cash a winning ticket. And it just might be this one.
The new multiplier tickets are here with top prizes from $5,000 to $500,000. So look for the ticket with the X.
Get your ticket today. It's time to play, scratch, and win. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Live racing at Oaklawn is back, and it's bigger than ever.
They're off.
With more race days and more ways to enjoy them, starting Friday, December 3rd. With a new luxury hotel, more dining options, and world-class thoroughbred racing, this season is like no other. Book your escape, buy your seats, and make your dining reservations at Oaklawn.com today. Oaklawn, Arkansas's only casino resort. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live from San Francisco at the NCAA Tournament.
On average, someone wins with a scratch-off game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery every 1.3 seconds. That means by the time I'm through talking, more than 23 people will cash a winning ticket. And it just might be this one.
The new multiplier tickets are here with top prizes from $5,000 to $500,000. So look for the ticket with the X.
Get your ticket today. It's time to play, scratch, and win. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
At Clay Maxi Premium Pre-Owned in Fort Smith, we're taking a cue from our pal Jalen Williams by taking charge and bringing you our A-game in-store and online. Plus, we've made finding your next game-winning vehicle easier than ever with ClayMaxiFortSmith.com. You can view every premium pre-owned vehicle available all in one place. So don't get caught traveling. Visit Clay Maxi Premium Pre-Owned right here in Fort Smith and ClayMaxiFortSmith.com.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Hey, where's the rest of the beer?
I'm probably out unless you clowns brought some.
Well, I've already had 3. Who's going to get more?
Order it from your phone.
From where?
Sody's delivers.
You mean where my girlfriend gets her wine and those cheese plates?
And if you don't want to drive, that's where you can order it. My free beer is gone.
Sody's now delivers inside Fort Smith city limits. Just order from mysodys.com or download the Sody's app and order from your phone. Sody's Wine and Spirits. Experience different.
Law's Drug is open and ready to safely care for your family. Law's Drug is open 6 days a week and has an easy-to-use drive-thru to pick up your prescriptions or any of their over-the-counter medications or supplements. Or let Law's Drug deliver your medications for free to your home or business. Law's Drug, since 1950 at 6802 Rogers Avenue, behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe and a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood, specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Arkansas Game Day live from San Francisco at the NCAA Tournament.
Nebar takes the inbounds pass, 12 seconds, into the front court, all the way to the rim, blocked from behind by Tony.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
Feeds Wade in the corner, three-pointer, good!
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Down goes Gonzaga. For the second time this season, the Razorbacks have upset the number one ranked team in the country, and the Hogs are going to the Elite Eight.
And welcome back to Arkansas Game Day. Drew Barrett, Ty Richardson getting you ready for another hour of Arkansas Game Day right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Also watch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and a few other places around the World Wide Web. So Ty is right now en route to the game to watch Arkansas take on the Blue Devils. It's the Chase Center, right? Is it kind of I can't spit it out of my mouth. Is that right? Is that where the game is held? Is Chase Center? Okay.
That is correct, Drew. Have you seen the sphere-looking arena in Kansas City, the Sprint Center?
Yeah, I have.
I think it's kind of, to me, it's similar setup. That kind of vibe. Just got a text. You were asking about text earlier. Just got a text from our buddy Tim over at Papa's. He's saying Hogs by 5.
Hogs by 5.
This one. I think that a lot of people, Drew, would love to see a Hogs by 5 outcome tonight. Heck, I'll take Hogs by 1. I just want them to win.
That's right. That's all you need is that one extra point than the opponent. It's all about survive and advance. And when it comes to the way Arkansas has played in this NCAA tournament, it feels like it has been survive and advance. You haven't truly blown anybody out. In first 2 rounds, when you look at Elite Eight type teams' resume throughout the tournament, you see a blowout or two. But Arkansas has had to play in some really close games. All 3 of them, you never felt comfortable or really that settled in until the final 30 seconds when a guy like Chris Likes or J.D. Notte have been at the line to kind of seal it and put it out of reach to give you that 2 or 3 possession game right about the 6 or 7 point mark to pull it out and to win. I don't know about you, Ty, but I feel like we're in store for a 4 straight type of game where you're going to need that heart medication right there next to you just in case.
Yeah, this one screams barn burner, like you're saying, Drew. It doesn't. I don't think that either Duke or Arkansas, whoever ends up claiming victory tonight, I can't see it being a blowout or even a 10-point or double-digit game. I think this is one that comes down to the bitter end, maybe in the final possession. Like you said, get your Prilosec OTC because you might need it tonight.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be might be a lot of doctor's appointments on Monday because their hearts are skipping a beat here on Saturday. We do get a text, 877-377-6963. That's where you can text or call Ty and I for your predictions, what you think you're going to see through this matchup here in a little less than 2 hours. As Hacker and Harrison says, Hogs by 90. Love the confidence, but I think that's just more of the old hashtag. Chris from Paris says he bet $75 on the Zag game, made $325, letting the $325 ride on the Duke game. So just 1 point win is fine for him. Love it, Chris. I love the action, man. You can't stop while you're hot. You got the hot hand. You got to let it ride. And that's exactly what Chris from Paris is doing, 877-377-6963. So the good thing is Hogs are winning, but I wouldn't say they have the hot hand. They've played very well defensively. If it wasn't for Musselman's preaching of defense and of being a defensive coach, he's even talked about how people think that because he has such an NBA background that he is this guy that wants to score 100 points, that wants to run everything through the offense, and he's a defensive guy, and he preaches that, and his players play amazing defense. That's what's gotten you to this point. It hasn't really been anything that spectacular on the offensive side. So going into this game, it does feel like you're due for that big offensive performance. I don't know if you're due for a Georgia performance, but I think you're due for that night where the rims, they just look really big.
Yeah, I'd love for Arkansas to shoot the ball well tonight because, like you said, Drew, they've won games against New Mexico State, Vermont, and against Gonzaga, mainly with their defense. And we always joke about them being due. Well, they've had three straight, at least in the tournament, three straight games where Eric Musselman would love to shoot a higher percentage. And I think if I had to guess, I could be wrong, you keep doing what's gotten you here. So I think of the limited amount of time that Muss had with his guys, it was probably focused on defense. He told us yesterday, Drew, and everyone else listening on our press conference on hitthatline.com and our YouTube channel, that he hadn't watched any of Duke this year because he watches Pac-12, he watches NBA, and he watches SEC, and I think he said one other conference, but he hadn't really watched the ACC ball, so he'll get a glimpse on, not to say that he hadn't had assistants and other people looking at the Blue Devils prior to coming here, but he'll get a sense later on today, outside of just watching them live on Thursday night, what this team is trying to do. And I think Arkansas had probably spent the primary focus the last day or so on defense if I had to put my money on it, buddy.
Yeah, we get a message from Daniel Outlaw with his prediction from Facebook. He says Arkansas 73, Duke 69. Love it right there, but that's also going to be another game that sounds like it's going to come straight down to the wire. And when you're trying to play against a Duke Blue Devils team like this, I don't think anybody would classify this as Coach K's best team. I don't think anybody would classify this as one of Coach K's top 10 teams. We've seen a lot of talented Duke teams that have made it to the national championship, and we've seen a lot of talented Duke teams, fall short of the expectations. And when it comes to this one, Barquero, it feels like it all goes through him. I mean, he's a top 3 projected pick in the NBA draft. He's extremely talented. He has the size, and he can score. So do you play the matchup around him like you did against Teddy Allen, or like you've done against, some other guys? Or do you play a matchup like you did against an Oscar Tshiebwe or a Walker Kessler, or, possibly last week against Gonzaga, where you play 4 really hard and you let that one guy go off? Or do you play it like you did against Teddy Allen and you stop the one and force the other 4 to beat you?
Well, the difficult thing for Arkansas is Duke has a plethora of other players that can score the basketball. This is not New Mexico State where it was one guy. Yeah, you let McCants have 16, but you weren't letting anyone else beat you. And then Gonzaga, same thing, several guys that can score, but Arkansas, they didn't really double-team Timmy. He got his 25 and 7, but Adich Toney just shut Andrew Nimhart out, and they fouled out Chet Holmgren, who had, I think, 5 and 9 shooting for 11 points, so maybe he could have been more of an offense if he was on the floor. But they went at him. They went at him hard. And for Arkansas, you're going to face some difficulty today because Duke is a very tall lineup. If you look at Arkansas, a lot of times I think has an advantage, but I don't think with Banchero being about 6'9", 6'10", and he plays the 3 and the 4 most of the time. They play him at the 5. This is what's going to be really intriguing to watch, is when they go small, which Duke is going to do tonight, who's going to guard who's Jalen Williams going to guard? That's something I'm really curious to see what ends up happening, because they'll play Banchero on the 5, and that's a really difficult lineup to game plan against, Drew.
Oh, it definitely is. And speaking of Jay Will, we get a text from Zach in Paragould and saying, whose game is it going to be tonight? He says he's going with Jay Will, saying he's going to have 15 points and 11 rebounds. His prediction, Hogs win 75-70. And that's the thing. Go ahead.
Real quick, Jay Will note, since you brought him up, I want to mention this. So I got a chance. I've never met his mom before, and she was at the foundation event, and it was funny. I caught up with Jalen yesterday in the kind of sit-down sessions that they had with me, and he was telling this story about Thursday night when they win the game, and he's trying to find his mom, trying to find his dad and stepdad, and just kind of see them. He always likes to do that following wins. But his mom was joking with me earlier. It was like, she was in tears or near tears, and Jalen was like, "Mom, why are you crying? It's not that big of a deal." It's like, and she was like, "Well, I'm your mom. I'm allowed to cry." So it was a really funny, entertaining conversation with her earlier, and you could tell that night was very emotional for her son to go to back-to-back Elite Eights, and I think, Tommy, you're going to see a lot of emotions across the state and inside of the Chase Arena tonight if Arkansas is able to advance. Sorry, I just wanted to get that note in from
no worries.
Jalen's mom today.
Oh, no worries. That's great content. Glad you shared that with us and all of our listeners, Ty. And Zach brings up a point. He says, whose game is it going to be tonight? Because you look at the 3 previous games that the Arkansas Razorbacks have played in this NCAA tournament, it's been a different guy who's had that game. You talk about game 1 against Vermont. I think it's Devo Davis showing back up, having double digits. Talking about, man, his dude just, when the bright lights of March Madness gets turned on, he flips a switch. Game 2, it's Audis Toney. The way that he played defense on Teddy Allen is some of the best defense that I've ever seen. I mean, making a guy go from 37 points to, I think he finished under 10 and ultimately got up, I think, only about 10 to 11 shots when he's closer to the 30 mark than anything else. And then you look at Gonzaga. Well, that's a Trey Wade game. I mean, who had on their bingo card that Trey Wade was going to come up with 15 points and that he was going to hit some of the biggest shots for you in the game? And when it comes to Jalen Williams and J.D. Note, I think you can kind of take them out of, it'd be a shocker if they step up like Trey Wade or, Devo Davis or Audis Toney. Except for the defensive side. Obviously, we know you're going to get Audis Toney's best defensive play night in and night out. But you know what you're going to get out of those guys. But with Jalen Williams, do you think that this is his game, that he can turn that switch on, that he can, instead of, and I hate to say, instead of being about, 12 and 11, be somewhere closer to 20 and 15? Because you're going to have to be able to get those second chance points. You're going to have to keep them from getting those second chance opportunities off the glass. This is a game that's going to be won by rebounding. Is tonight the Jalen Williams game that we're going to talk about forever?
Jalen has had moments this season. He doesn't have the best shooting percentage. He knows that. He's missed some bunnies this year. He knows that. But the thing about Jalen Williams is he always makes that timely three or that timely bucket or gets that timely foul called on an opposing big man. He had a stretch in the Kentucky game, if you remember. Hit a jump shot, came down, Sheboy fouled him, knocked down free throws, and then I think he got another and one and a couple rebounds during that stretch. He's taken over games. You just sometime might notice it. And again, he's got a tough matchup tonight against not just Williams, but Theo John when he comes in. Those are two bruisers down low that Arkansas is going to have to gang rebound and team rebound against. And I'd love to see the best player on this team is J.D. Note. The most important player on this team is Jalen Williams. And I think if you polled Arkansas fans, just because he's an Arkansas guy, we've heard him talk about the legacy that's gone through Fort Smith, Northside, and Fort Smith. Ron Brewer's up here. We know about him and his undefeated Grizzlies team back in the 70s. We know about Isaiah Joe and Trey Norwood, who's playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, on the basketball team. I'm forgetting the small scat point guard. Y'all Northside fans are going to have to help me out, but it's one of the premier basketball high schools in the state when it comes to getting talent up to Arkansas. And I know there's others that across the state. We know about the legacies in Little Rock and up in Northwest Arkansas as well. But Jalen's just such a likable young man on and off the floor. I can't pretend that I know him well personally, but getting a chance to play pickup with him a few times and just he's very humble. And a guy like that who is everything going for him right now, both on and off the floor, you just appreciate that if you're an Arkansas fan, Drew. So, yes, I hope he goes off for 20 and 15 tonight. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would absolutely be fantastic. And, 87, we get a text out of 870. He says he thinks it'll be 15 because he believes that Jalen, J.D. Note, and Chris Lykes are going to have a breakout game tonight. His prediction is 76-72 Arkansas win. And that's another name that could be brought up as a guy that comes out of left field to have an incredible night. It would be a guy like Chris Lykes. Only played 3 minutes in the basketball game against Gonzaga, but was there to knock down some big, very important free throws. How much playing time do you think we see out of Chris Lykes? And ultimately, and here's the thing about seeing a lot of playing time out of Chris Lykes, if you see a lot of Lykes, that means you're not seeing Note because he's in foul trouble. Would you rather have another 3-minute night out of Chris Lykes because that kind of sets you up for all 40 minutes of J.D. Note? Or do you think Chris can handle that and be able to come in? Because we've seen it happen. I think, Chris Lykes didn't have the best performance in overtime against Auburn, but I don't think anybody said that, man, we barely escaped. Chris Lykes almost threw away the game. And he's shown in spurts this season that he can be productive, can have great minutes. What do you think of his performance and kind of what is he going to mean for Arkansas to get a win tonight?
You would love for Chris to have a game similar that he did against LSU, where he, if you remember, made that shot at the end of the first half, as JD just did in the game against Gonzaga. Chris has shown the ability he can score. He hits open threes. It's the shots that are puzzling sometimes, the no passes down the stretch, and he takes a pull-up jumper. But he's done away with most of that. He's had to adjust the offense, adjust his role. But as you just said, it's not easy to come off the bench after not playing a lot and knock down free throws to potentially send your team to Elite Eight. And Chris looked calm, cool, and collective and did exactly that. Does he take some bad shots occasionally? Yes, J.D. Note does the same thing, but he's so valuable late in games because of how clutch he is from the free throw line. I know Arkansas fans love talking about Daryl Macon and the ice in his veins. Well, Chris has that same ice when it comes to knocking down free throws during the stretch.
Yeah, he definitely does. And speaking of free throws, how weird was it throughout that Gonzaga game until the end to see Arkansas miss free throws? I think it made a lot of people nervous and a lot of people worried that if they didn't pull out the win against the Zags, that was going to be the thing that everybody looked back at as a team that normally shoots incredibly high percentages from the free throw line, as they missed a few against Gonzaga.
Yeah, they did, and you can't do that today. Every point is crucial in this basketball game because you're facing you had a lot of time to prepare for Gonzaga. I would guess, Drew, that there's going to be more scoring in this basketball game, and you're going to see a higher percentage of field goals made just because the lack of time you've had to prepare to game plan for Duke. They had way more time to get ready for the Zags. Now, that doesn't mean it won't happen on the other end for Arkansas as well, but the free throws just a big deal. And Arkansas, there's so many areas that we've focused on to this point on Arkansas game day. Free throws, Drew, you're spot on. That needs to happen as well.
It definitely does. And we're going to get into everything surrounding this game. We're going to get to Braley's question about Devo on the other side of the break. 877-377-6963. Taking your calls, your texts, all the way up to about 7:15, leading into Chuck and Z's pregame, and then ultimately the tip-off between the Razorbacks and the Blue Devils. Drew Barrett here in the Barling Studios. Ty Richardson, however, is on the way to Chase Center as he has been in San Francisco this week as the Hogs are back in the Elite Eight, and ESPN Arkansas has been there to cover the Hogs in San Francisco all week thanks to Ty. He's been on the Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, post-game on Thursday, now pre and post here on Saturday, and we could not bring you this great coverage of the Razorbacks in the tournament without our great sponsors, and that's Ritter Communications, providing 100% fiber internet from 100% Arkansas company. Ritter Communications, right for you. Guild Mortgage, serving you for all your home loan needs. See more at guildmortgage.com. Get a free furnace when you purchase a qualifying new system from Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling. Call 855-GO-CALL-BUD or gocallbud.com. Bud Anderson is the official heating and cooling provider of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So we really appreciate them sending Ty, and hopefully Ty can continue the good luck that he brought to the Razorbacks on Thursday against the #1 overall seed Gonzaga Bulldogs tonight against Coach K and the Duke Blue Devils. We'll be right back with more of your calls, your texts, and more breaking down of this Elite Eight matchup live from San Francisco right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Hey, where's the rest of the beer?
I'm probably out unless you clowns brought some.
Well, I've already had 3. Who's going to get more?
Order it from your phone.
From where?
Sody's delivers.
You mean where my girlfriend gets her wine and those cheese plates?
And if you don't want to drive, that's where you can order it. My free beer is gone.
Sody's now delivers inside Fort Smith city limits. Just order from mysodys.com or download the Sody's app and order from your phone. Sody's Wine and Spirits. Experience different.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop until you get something done. Yeah, I know the game is on, but the faucet is still dripping, the toilet keeps running, and the drains won't drain, and on and on. You need to call West Ark Plumbing and let them do the dirty work while you enjoy the game. Call them at 646-5151 and watch the ball game without the West Ark Plumbing, 646-5151.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hey, Jan. Say, is now a good time for a new Toyota?
You bet it is. Now through April 4th is the perfect time to shop for a RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma, Corolla, and more.
Amazing. I was just thinking of a RAV4.
Well, imagine yourself in a RAV4. Where would you go first?
Okay, I've just got my RAV4. I am picking up my friends and going out to lunch to celebrate.
Perfect. A bistro? A deli?
Skinny Al's Barbecue.
Whoa, okay. I love barbecue.
Huh. Well, then you should imagine yourself digging into the best ribs you've ever tasted.
I'm imagining you inviting me.
My imaginary self thought you'd never ask.
Let your imagination run wild at your participating Toyota dealer. Whether you're imagining yourself in a sporty Camry, versatile Highlander, or the spacious Venza, now's the time to ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Arkansas Game Day live from San Francisco at the NCAA Tournament.
Nebar takes the inbounds pass, 12 seconds into the front court, all the way to the rim, blocked from behind by Tony.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
Feeds Wade in the corner, three-pointer good! good.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Down goes Gonzaga. For the second time this season, the Razorbacks have upset the number 1 ranked team in the country, and the Hogs are going to the Elite Eight.
And welcome back to Arkansas Game Day. Drew Barrett, Ty Richardson here as Ty is out in San Francisco on the way to the Chase Center right now, getting you all ready for this Arkansas versus Duke matchup. 877-377-6963 is the phone number to get in here with your texts and your calls as we're taking you up to 7:15 as we join Chuck and Z in their pregame leading up to the tip from the Chase Center of this Elite Eight matchup of the Razorbacks versus Duke. So, Ty, we get a text from Braley at 877-377-6963 asking, does Devo have one of those March Madness moments? Devo's had one of those games, but if you remember last year, he had multiple of those games. Does he get back to where he was in the first round against Vermont?
You'd love it, man, because he popped off against the Catamounts. And here's a guy that hit the biggest shot in his career in the Sweet 16 last year against Oral Roberts, a situation that a lot of people, including myself, would probably shy away from. I don't want to take the last shot, but he did. The true freshman hit his old-fashioned fadeaway, kind of not elbow jumper, but it was kind of near the lane, and buried it. And for Devontae Davis, a guy that was picked second-team All-SEC by the coaches, hasn't had the season he wanted. It's right in front of you, man. I'm not asking him to take 20 shots by any stretch of the imagination, but Tom Murphy always brings it up on the morning rush. His ability to be crafty and get in the lane, as long as he's not out of control, is going to be pivotal tonight for this team, because I think that Arkansas is going to need him, JD, and Chris to really get in the lane and open some shots up for some other guys. Need a big night from several people. Devontae would be wise. It would be great for Arkansas if he had a big game tonight.
Oh, it definitely would be. And you know that if you can get all of these great, talented players clicking on the same page at the same time, it almost feels like Arkansas has the talent to beat anybody in the country because we've seen them beat anybody in the country. I mean, it's not out of stretch to say that Arkansas can hang with anybody, and there's not a team out there that should really scare the Razorbacks and the Hog Nation because you've played a incredible season, because you beat Gonzaga on Thursday, because you beat Auburn. Yes, Auburn kind of fell down at the end, but they were the number 1 team. They still were a great team. You beat Kentucky. You beat Tennessee. Now, they didn't have the March Madnesses that a lot of people expected them to, but I still think, you replay those games that they lost. I mean, you replay Kentucky-St. Peter's. I know St. Peter's is playing in the Elite Eight today, but realistically, you replay those games. Kentucky wins that game 8 or 9 out of 10 times. Like, St. Peter's was the better team that night, but not over the course of the season. So Arkansas has the ability to play with anybody, and they have. And they have the ability to beat everybody because they have. But one thing that has kind of combined all of those great wins for Arkansas has been the defense. And there's been a number that I think Arkansas has been able to hold people under. I mean, you look at the Gonzaga matchup on Thursday. Gonzaga came into the game averaging 88 points. Arkansas held them to 68. What's the point mark that you look at this night? If Arkansas holds Duke to blank, Arkansas should win the game.
I think if you can hold Duke under, I know Clark Kellogg was talking about if you can't hold them under 75, and Arkansas did exactly that. He said that was their floor. Arkansas held them 68. So I'll stay with kind of what he said. If you can hold them under 75, I think this team's going to win. I mean, we've seen games this season. It hadn't happened a lot, but Arkansas has exploded offensively. Why not have one of those tonight? You're going to get open shots. Duke is not the best. They're a decent defensive team. I gotta pull up the stats in front of me, but this is not. You're not going up against Texas Tech defensively tonight. So if you can knock down some jumpers, you're going to get them. That's the issue. Can Arkansas knock down the open 3-point attempts? Because they shot. I know they shot. I think a little bit better than Gonzaga 3-point wise, but it wasn't much. So if you can hit these open threes, maybe get over a 30% clip, I think that's going to bode well for you tonight, Drew.
Yeah, and that's the thing when it comes to this Arkansas three-point shooting. And I talked about Thursday before on halftime before they played Gonzaga that, with the way that, a lot of teams play is live and die by the three ball. Now, not everybody does it to the extent as Alabama, but everybody has a high percentage of three-point shooters on their team. And talked about with Arkansas, because you're not the best three-point shooting team, you'd rather be around the 15 mark attempts and make them quality attempts than to be around 25. I thought if you shot 25 threes, that meant you were in desperation mode and you're trying to climb back and you weren't going to beat Gonzaga. Well, they shot 25 threes and they shot it under 30%, but they were able to win. Do you think that they need to lower that amount of attempts, or if the game flows and kind of presents itself that way, then that's the way it should go? Or do they really need to work at driving the basket, trying to force getting back to the line, because they really didn't get to the line all that many times against Gonzaga?
I think the strength of this basketball team is getting to the line and knocking down the free throws, because that's what they've done all season long. So I don't think you shy away from that formula. But if you get open threes, take them and knock them down. Don't shy away from not taking a shot when it's open. But this team is aggressive. Stanley Amude needs to be aggressive tonight. I think Adis Toney might be in for a better game tonight. He hasn't had one of those in a few games where he could go off for double-digit points. These guys, they attack. JD attacks, and he was attacking Gonzaga consistently. And I think you're going to see Jalen Williams attack and several other guys. But when the opportunity presents itself and Duke doesn't respect you from the three, bury it with confidence, man, because that's what this team should be able to do tonight.
877-377-6963 to get in here on our text line, or to call us with your predictions, your feeling, your nervous level, how confident you are in the game. And most people on our text line, they've been real confident. I haven't seen a single person that says Arkansas is going to put up a great fight, but Duke's going to pull it out. And we get a text from one of our biggest texters throughout all three of our regular shows, B.E. in Clarksville. He says, checking in, fellas. Thanks for the hog prepping. Woo Pig, I feel we got this tonight. Hog 78, Duke 72. So that kind of leans into that number of keeping Duke below the 75-point mark. And when it comes to this matchup, and, we talked about it a little bit earlier, how it does somewhat feel like people are rooting for Duke, which is very weird because of what's going on in the other regions. Because there's a chance that you could have a Duke-North Carolina Final Four matchup. If North Carolina is able to beat St. Peter's, then they're on to the Final Four. If Duke's able to beat this great Arkansas team, they're on to the Final Four. And that means next Saturday night, we're watching Duke-North Carolina. And that storyline has captured so many people nationally. But locally, yesterday we had Joe Ovius from Raleigh Sports Talk Radio and said everybody nationally wants this matchup. The people that don't want it are Duke fans and North Carolina fans, because they don't want to give an edge to the other team when it comes to trash talking. And we also talked to him about the pressure on Duke, on these young, very young team. Built up of mostly freshmen and sophomores. The pressure of it being Coach K's last season, the pressure of wanting to send off a coach who has coached in Division I men's basketball for 47 years, a coach who has won, I think, over 1,200 NCAA Division I games, a living legend of this game, a guy that you would put on a Mount Rushmore with John Wooden. Like, that is how big of a name Coach K and how big of a difference he's made in the game of college basketball through almost 5 decades of coaching. How have you been – how's the sense in San Francisco been about that pressure on Duke? Do they seem tense? Does it seem like the pressure is getting to them? And ultimately, can Arkansas use that pressure against them and attack and ultimately make them crack?
Coach K seemed pretty chipper in the press conference yesterday, and his players are focused, and they haven't wilted. They haven't gone away just yet. We saw in the Michigan State game. We saw in the Texas Tech game. That's actually when they've shined the brightest, is late in the last 5 minutes or so of those games. And I know that Texas Tech is the highest-rated defensive efficiency team, I think, in the country.
Mhm.
But the way Arkansas is playing defensively right now, and I just don't know. Like it's kind of like Gonzaga, and that was my whole argument. And I didn't believe this, and when the tournament got started, but then I just looked at it, and again Tuesday I just emphatically started saying they're not losing on Thursday night, just because it's one thing to game plan against certain defenses. I mean, you played high school sports. I mean, it's one thing to see a guy in film session and see a team in films, and then you actually get out there, the speed, the size, the length that Arkansas's had. Are they the biggest team in college basketball? No, but they make you work for everything. And Gonzaga, even when they got open shots, Arkansas was sprinting, dead sprinting to try and block or throw off the attempt, and they just flat out wanted it more on Thursday. And you can make the debate that Duke and Arkansas are about the same on who wants it, just based on Coach K and where he's at this point in his career. But man, I think Arkansas. Talking to Coach Muss yesterday, and he said, well, we might use that as motivation, Ty, because I asked him, I was like, Coach, I remember sitting in Indy last year and the emotions from Jalen and JD and Devo and you and everything else. Is that something that you or the team has talked to each other about? And he said, no, not yet, but we are going to now. So I think he's gonna preach to his guys, y'all want to play another game? Got to win tonight. We don't want to be in the same situation we were last year, crying our eyes out after Baylor. Drew Timme, I mean, we saw how emotional he was in the post-game press conference. He had just cried. You don't want to. I'm not one of those guys that makes fun of a man for crying after a crazy sporting event, but you'd rather have tears of joy than tears of sadness tonight if you're watching Arkansas basketball, Drew.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm not either. I still remember back to 2008, my father had to pick me up off the ground at the San Antonio Arena and carry me out in tears the day that my childhood was ended by Mario Chalmers. But hopefully nobody's childhood and innocence is ripped away from them tonight from the Arkansas perspective. And we get a question here from Greg from Fort Smith. We're talking about defense, talking about how well Arkansas's defense is. Greg wants to know, where does Duke rank among the top defenses in basketball? You said that they're not the best. Are they more of middle of the pack, or are they the type of team that is going to try to outrun you, just first 1 to 90 type of a basketball team?
Let me pull up my handy-dandy KenPom app real bit. Thank you, Ken Pomeroy, for making this so easy. So defensively, they're top 50. They're 46 on adjusted defensive efficiency. They don't force a lot of turnovers. They're outside the top 300 in that category. They don't get a lot of steals. So I think Arkansas is going to have some elements of their offense that are going to be clicking for them tonight. Now, offensively, hey, you just played the number one team in all of college basketball. Drew, want to gander where Duke is?
I'm gonna say top 25. I'm gonna say they're around 17.
They're 2.
2. Okay. Wow, even better.
You just beat the number one team, not only overall seed and the number one team offensively. Now you have to beat the 2 seed and the second best team in the country offensively. Like I said, it ain't gonna be easy, and that stat alone just tells you how talented Duke is when it comes to scoring the basketball.
Yeah, one thing is for sure, if Arkansas is able to pull off this win against the Duke Blue Devils tonight, and the full-on week-long prep of the Final Four. Ty, I don't know, have you ever been to a Final Four event?
I have not. I have been to several Sweet 16 Elite Eights and first and second round games, but that would be a bucket list item, and especially since it's in New Orleans, Louisiana, a place that I know you and I have been to, and several of our listeners went to the Sugar Bowl and others. It would just be quite an experience next weekend if they pulled it out tonight.
Oh, it definitely will. And the girlfriend sitting behind me, she's up here, she's in town, and she does not like the idea of me being alone down in New Orleans, but I told her Ty will definitely take care of me and keep me out of trouble. So it's going to be on you to keep Caroline's nerves down a bit. But when you go to a Final Four, it's the biggest sporting event I've ever personally been to, just because of media coverage, people, different events. They set up concerts, they set up pop-up exhibits, pop-up things, interactive things for fans to do, where yes, you're down to the final 3 games, and it's all about 2 games on Saturday, 1 game on Monday, but it is a week-long event, and it's something that all Arkansas fans will be able to cherish and going forward. And one thing that has led Arkansas, I guess mentally throughout this tournament has been what Messelman just talks about, of doubters, of people not picking Arkansas, not thinking Arkansas would get to where they are. So
CBS did not pick Arkansas, not a single analyst.
I was about to ask, what's the slideshow material? Because you can't really call it bulletin board. Nobody has a cork bulletin board anymore. You attack on newspaper articles. What's the big thing that's been on the slide and on throughout the film sessions in the last 2 days?
I've been looking, man, and I don't think it's as bad just because they just beat Gonzaga, but you're still going to have the majority of the college basketball public outside of the great state of Arkansas that's going to pick against them. And that's fine because it's better. They play better that way. And he's got that Michael Jordan-esque pushback to him where,
and that's when I took it personally, that type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and you love that as your head coach. And if I had to guess, it's something that's been with him from an early age, him being – I know Tommy's talked about him being a shorter guy, and I guarantee you, it's like, Coach, you have that chip on your shoulder. I guarantee you'd be like, absolutely, Ty, because that's just the deal. And that's fine because you love that. You love proving people wrong if you're an Arkansas basketball fan. That's all this team has done to the postseason at this point.
Yeah, and like you said, Duke's the number 2 efficient offensive team after beating the number 1 team in the country on Thursday. If Arkansas is able to pull out this one, nobody's going to be able to, with a straight face, say Arkansas lucked into the Final Four. Drew Barrett here holding down the fort in the fort. Ty Richardson in San Francisco, California. And we appreciate all the great coverage he's brought to us on the socials, on the Morning Rush, getting up at 3 o'clock. I don't know how you did it, but good job for you, buddy, to joining us on halftime, and Ruskin and Zach. And, of course, we cannot thank our sponsors enough for allowing Ty to be out there to give you the best tournament coverage in the state of Arkansas. Thank you so much to Ritter Communications, providing 100% fiber internet from 100% Arkansas company. Ritter Communications, right for you. Gilded Mortgage, serving you for all your home loan needs. See more at gildedmortgage.com and get a free furnace when you purchase a qualifying new system for Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling. Call 855-GO-CALL-BUD or gocallbud.com. Bud Anderson is the official heating and cooling provider of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So we really appreciate them. And I know Ty, just like I was, very appreciative of the opportunity to cover this team. Hopefully, Ty, the coverage doesn't end here. It ends in about, let me do the math, 7, carry the 2, minus 5. It ends in 9-10 days.
Yeah, it's coming to an end, man. It's a bittersweet end, of course. This is our favorite time of year, and not that we don't love Razorback football and other stuff, but this is just what I love, and getting a chance to go to all these different games over the years and being at this one to now with all these other rowdy Hog fans. It's gonna be fun to step inside the Chase Center.
It definitely will be, and we're gonna come back with one last segment before we send you off to San Francisco for Chuck and Z's program, and then the tip of the Arkansas Razorbacks. We're going to give you our final predictions, our final keys to this game, to where we'll all be eating beignets, slurping down oysters at Acme House, eating crawfish, and all that great Creole food down in NOLA next week. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with your text calls, 877-377-6963. Ty and I's final predictions and keys to the game right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
At Clay Maxi Premium Pre-Owned in Fort Smith, we're taking a cue from our pal Jalen Williams by taking charge and bringing you our A-game in-store and online. Plus, we made finding your next game-winning vehicle easier than ever with ClayMaxiFortSmith.com. You can view every premium pre-owned vehicle available all in one place. So don't get caught traveling. Visit Clay Maxi Premium Pre-Owned right here in Fort Smith and ClayMaxiFortSmith.com.
Now, maybe more than ever, you should get your very own Big Red Rewards card and start saving money at the gas pump today. You know, if you grab a cup of community coffee or your favorite fountain drink on your way to work and get another to cap off the day on your way home, you're going to save 50 cents a gallon each week. And chances are, when you get those drinks, you're going to pick up a snack, some chips, or maybe a healthy fruit cup for later, and that's going to load into your rewards card too. Get control of these out-of-control gas prices now. Get your Big Red Rewards card today.
You're listening to Arkansas Game Day live from San Francisco at the NCAA Tournament. I told you that front tire needed air.
I know, Dad.
Where's the tire iron? I told you, always keep a tire iron in a jack.
I know, Dad. I got it. Roadside assistance is included with my shelter insurance auto policy. It's one of the reasons you told me to get it, remember?
Maybe you do listen after all.
At Shelter, listening to you is what we do best.
Ask Shelter agent Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
Now, maybe more than ever, you should get your very own Big Red Rewards card and start saving money at the gas pump today. You know, if you grab a cup of community coffee or your favorite fountain drink on your way to work and get another to cap off the day on your way home, you're going to save 50 cents a gallon each week. And chances are, when you get those drinks, you're going to pick up a snack, some chips, or maybe a healthy fruit cup for later, and that's going to load into your rewards card too. Get control of these out-of-control gas prices now. Get your Big Red Rewards card today.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
When it comes to your gas bill, one size does not fit all. So AOG offers many payment options. Did you know you can arrange to pay online with the click of a mouse or pay by phone? You can even sign up for automatic bill payment from your checking or savings account. AOG also has a paperless billing option to reduce that clutter in your mailbox. Of course, you can bring your payment to our 24-hour drop box or to one of many convenient locations throughout our service area. To find a payment option that's a perfect fit, visit AOGC.com.
March Madness is approaching. Make sure you have everything you need for the games by stopping by Four Corks Wine and Spirits. Choose from a wide selection of bourbons and whiskeys, craft beers, and a great selection of the coldest imports in town. Take advantage of the walk-in humidor for an A-list selection of cigars, or enjoy the elegant climate-controlled wine cellar of hand-selected wines. It's all here at Four Corks Wine and Spirits, just past the intersection of Mazard and Zero towards Ben Guerin.
March is here at Frank Rowe Furniture, and it's my birthday month. Since it's my birthday month, I'm having a big sale with hundreds of dollars off savings on furniture. Not only are we offering big savings, you won't pay a dime on sales tax. That's right, no sales tax on cash or finance prices. I'm not done. We are knocking off $25 on all deliveries. In-store no credit check financing, family owned and serviced after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture, best seats in the house.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Arkansas Game Day live from San Francisco at the NCAA Tournament.
Nebar takes the inbounds pass, 12 seconds, into the front court, all the way to the rim, blocked from behind by Tony.
Arkansas Game Day is brought to you by Bud Anderson Heating and Cooling, Guild Mortgage, and Ritter Communications.
Feeds Wade in the corner, three-pointer, good! good.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963.
Down goes Gonzaga. For the second time this season, the Razorbacks have upset the number 1 ranked team in the country, and the Hogs are going to the Elite Eight.
Hey, welcome back. Final segment of Arkansas Game Day is Drew Barrett here, Ty Richardson in San Francisco, California. Get you ready for Arkansas, Duke, Elite Eight winner to the Final Four in the Big Easy. Ty, it's been great coverage, great stuff from San Francisco all this week, and we hope that we can continue to give Arkansas fans and our Arkansans the great coverage the next week into NOLA. And there's going to be some things that have to happen tonight. You know, what are some of your give me one or two real big keys to the games of Arkansas wins this game if fill in the blank?
30% from the three-point line, because, again, I think there's a good chance, based on the way that Arkansas shot lately and shot this season, that K's going to say, all right, guys, you got to be us. You got to shoot. You got to outshoot us. And if that happens, Arkansas's got to make some jump shots. And if they're a dismal 22 or 21% from the three-point line, I just don't know how you're going to be able to get it done. But this team, again, we keep setting, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that, and then the team
they
wins
haven't done any of it, and they still win.
Yeah, and they still win. That's what gives you confidence heading into this game tonight. Duke's the more talented team. Coach Case, the best coach, or either one or two, depending on what you think of him and John Wooden and the history of the game. But you have such a confidence in your guy, Eric Musselman, based on his ability to game plan, based on the tenacity he coaches with, and just based on the fact that he's a winner. He just knows how to win. And it's going to be a fun one tonight. I don't know if I can necessarily place a certain they have to do this or they have to do that, because like we said, Drew, every time they don't accomplish it, they still find a way to win.
Exactly. I mean, this is our third pregame show of this tournament that we've done together, and every pregame we've talked about keys to the game, things that they need to do to be successful. And, well, they didn't do any of them, and they were still downright successful. So, you know, hopefully they do the keys to the game. They're able to win, but ultimately it's all about getting one more point than the other. I think that, like you, I think you got to shoot over 30% from the three-point line, and I think that you got to keep the three-point attempts down to a minimum. I don't know if you can survive and you can shoot 30% from the field if you're shooting 25 attempts. If you're shooting closer to 30, I think you need to keep it around 15. Obviously, key to this game, defense. I mean, Eric Musselman has preached it since his time at Nevada. He continues to preach it at Arkansas, and they continue to execute. And, you know, you felt good about the preparation and the game plan Eric Musselman was going to have going into the Gonzaga game, because Eric Musselman has a track record of if he has 4 or 5 days to prepare for anybody, he's going to win. 9 out of 10 times, he's going to win that ball game when he has that much prep time to take advantage of getting the best defensive plan and the best defensive schemes out there. Now, 2-day turnaround like we see all the time in March Madness, going from Thursday to Saturday, Friday to Sunday. You know, how much time has he had to put in that game plan? I think you have a lot of confidence in Eric Musselman and his staff to do that. It's just execution, and hopefully that Arkansas, out of these two teams, is more of the team of destiny. So I think if Au'Diese Toney continues his defensive ability and continues to shut down a certain player, and I don't even know which player that is, and that's the thing about Duke, right? They have so many different guys that can get it done, just like Gonzaga. You know, we said the same thing about Gonzaga, and Arkansas was able to pull that one out. Mm-hmm. But, you know, who are you going to say – tip time, that's who Au'Diese is going to shut down? Who is he going to ultimately guard?
I hope it's Banchero, because he's their best player. He's the top 5, top 3 pick in this upcoming NBA draft. You know, Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, and now him. Now, Trey Wade guarded Chet in this last game and did a great job, so maybe they roll. Banchero's a little quicker than Chet is, so that'll be something to monitor. But I think it'll be a combination of Stanley, Trey, and Au'Diese. And if Au'Diese can shut down Banchero, man, that is a huge element that Duke has relied on all season long offensively, and that could change the entire outlook of the game, man.
It definitely can. Final few minutes here left. If you want to get in the text here at 877-377-6963. Robert in Van Buren, he says 75-72. We've gotten that prediction a lot. Other things that think Greg in Fort Smith says got to shoot 80% plus from the free throw line. That's his prediction. As we wrap up this edition of Arkansas Game Day, and of course Drew Barrett here in the Fort, Ty in San Francisco, and we thank our sponsors, Ritter Communications, providing 100% fiber internet from 100% Arkansas company. Ritter Communications, right for you. Gilded Mortgage, serving you for all your home loan needs. See more at gildedmortgage.com and get a free furnace with your purchase, a qualifying new system from Bud Anderson Heating and Cool. Call 855-GO-CALL-BUD or gocallbud.com. Bud Anderson is the official heating and cooling provider of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So we're down to our last minute and a half, Ty. What is your final prediction? Can you put a score on it? Just throw out a number. Hopefully Arkansas wins.
I mean, I want to be in New Orleans next week like you do. I don't know, man. I've gone back and forth on this ever since the Gonzaga game. I'm confident in my decision. Now, and as you know and as everyone else knows, decisions and guesses and predictions have been wrong before. I don't feel as confident about this game, but I honestly don't know what to think, man. I might have to tell you right before tip-off, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one of those games where I think the nervous level and the blood pressure of everyone across the Natural State is definitely high today. And we're going to take you to Chuck and Z here in a few moments. Don't forget, we'll be back with Hog Reaction, taking your calls, your texts, hopefully, fingers crossed, after an Arkansas win. So for Ty Richardson, I'm Drew Barrett. Enjoy the game. It's the Elite Eight. It's one of the biggest games of the season, of the century for Arkansas. So with that, have a great day and go Hogs.
On average, someone wins with a scratch-off game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery every 1.3 seconds. That means by the time I'm through talking, more than 23 people will cash a winning ticket. And it just might be this one.